Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So I've already reviewed AS Nagi as her 5-star. Now let's look at OG Nagi now that she has her new manifest weapon. The most important question of all, of course, is
she hot or not?
Well, just like AS Nagi, she does eat her own tentacles, and so I love sushi. Yeah, I'll say she's hot. So anyways, Nagi is much below average for a 5-star. You can see only 179 speed, so quite slow. Although she is very powerful and does a lot of good physical attacks. She doesn't possess any AoEs either, so she's basically just good for single DPS. That being said, she can take a lot of damage because her endurance is very high. So her Valor Chant powers up everybody by 30% and reduces slash resistance on the enemies by 25%. So a combination of a number of different people's VCs. And you can see the 3 moves I went with. Now, if you compare the most powerful weapons in the game so far to Abyss Eater, you can see the stat difference. Now, in terms of her moves, she does have a number of different combinations. Stun Edge is a very useful single target stun. And of course, if you've watched my battle against Mimi, you'll realize that I did try a stun strategy back when I didn't have a lot of AS characters. So it can be very useful for enemies who are vulnerable to stun. That being said, she does have some other small attacks that can do different things. And of course, she does have Depletion Edge as well, which can heal herself while doing a single target non-elemental attack on the enemy. That being said, Intertwine is one of the best moves so far, and this is one of the 2 moves that is enhanced by her manifest weapon. And you can see Calamity Axe is her go-to double slash XL attack as well. Of course, she is earth-based, as you've come to realize by using AS Nagi with her massive damage. Those of you who've actually owned both OG and AS Nagi probably haven't used OG Nagi in some time, and I will be one of those as well. However, with the advent of having the Abyss Eater, we can now see her enhanced moves and see what she's made to do. And what she's made to do is not only increase her Earth type attack, so her power levels and damage can now compare against some of the more powerful Earth DPS characters in the game. You can see the Earth type boost is 50% on herself, so very reminiscent of Yuan's weapon itself, except it doesn't give it to all axe users. That would be Philo's job. Now, her Calamity Axe is also increased as well. Not only does it 2 times XL Slash, which is her basic move, it can also stack Intelligence debuff on the enemy, as well as increased damage when she has more than 50% life. So, being that she does take a little bit less damage because she's quite hardy with her endurance, you can easily keep her above 50%, thus dealing a lot more damage as well. And that's the move you would go for anyways when you're doing AF spamming. So let's go with her 5-star board. And you can see that her 2 moves there as her 5-star. Keep in mind that with all manifest weapons, MP cost is reduced when you do equip the manifest weapon. Also, if you do own both, you can get an enhanced stat bonus. You can see in this case, Endurance plus 10 for the AS version. Now, AS and OG's versions do share the same Grasta, so you don't have to move them around. And you can see I went with a 20-20 as well as a crit boost 30. So why don't we take her for a spin? And again, based on the fact that she has no AoEs, I'm not going to run around and kill some useless mobs. We're going to take her on against one of the more troublesome manifest weapon battles in the game, which is Mighty. Now, since Mana has come out, you actually have a number of different strategies that we can do against Mighty. That being said, we're going to focus our attacks using OG Nagi with her int down. And remember that it stacks 3 times, so it'll be 20 for the first time, then 10 for a total of 40% int down over 3 turns. And keep in mind that with Mana, she also does have Queen of Hearts, which also int down. Keep in mind that that does boost your power of your characters by 30% as well, actually 35, so that your DPS physical attackers can do more damage against Mighty, while his attacks do much less since he is always only using magical attacks and has no physical attacks in this particular battle. you can see that the damage is only in the mid-hundreds now, as opposed to when he boosts his own int over time, in which case he can wipe out your characters either in one turn with his Nightmare gift, especially after he boosts again the second time. Now, if this battle does become trouble, don't forget that mana can also remove all debuffs and buffs from the enemy, as well as land type resistant debuff 25% on the enemy. That being said, if you are planning to use that, you want to make sure that you apply another debuff of int right away after that, because otherwise you can see what happens. By removing that, even his unbuffed move does do 2600 damage unmitigated. Now keep in mind we have no Aurora Force because we're not using Mariel in this battle, so we are relying only on int down, and with mana, the main thing is we're relying on her regen with using Practical. So I know that the enemy doesn't cast any sort of, physical attacks, but you still want to regen if you can. And you can see that right there. Now note that the damage from Nagi is significant, but not reaching the power levels of AS Nagi. But like I said, with her Manifest Weapon, that's not really her primary role, which is to deal massive amounts of damage. Her primary role in this case is to really control the game, control the battle, especially against bosses who use primarily magical attacks, and therefore you can take your time and end the battle once you have enough AF power. Again, with the Nightmare Gift you saw, it's only 100 and something damage times 2 on OG Nagi. So with 2 multiple int debuffs on the enemy, you're not really worried about Mighty killing off your team. And we can have a full AF bar at this point, and we're going to activate it right now. And with with your Serene, as well as Lokido and Tsubame, an all Earth-based character team should do close to enough damage to end the battle. Now, keep in mind that we're not using AS Nagi, so it doesn't end the battle quite as quickly as we normally would with AS Nagi. So, as long as we're patient, and again, only took a few hundred damage, the battle will be over very, very shortly. Now, just a reminder, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Also, I do have a Patreon account for those who are interested in supporting me this way. So there you have it. So in conclusion, I would say that OG Nagi is very, very useful against bosses that do a lot of magical attacks, and being that she still has a lot of single target damage, is very useful in any Earth-based team, especially with the Manifest Weapon boosting her own Earth-based attacks. That being said, I don't think she's as powerful as AS Nagi, but like I said, now her role is quite different than it used to be, in the fact that she's a lot more flexible and can be taken in to different battles with a variety of uses. So let me know in the comments below if you think you'll be using OG Nagi, or probably just sticking to AS Nagi. For myself, I'll probably just use AS Nagi for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.